So today is my 16th birthday, and I thought rather than do the usual of have a massive party or go out for dinner, I'd invite my friends round for a meal prepared by myself, with dishes inspired by a Michelin star menu. Michelin stars are given to restaurants that have amazing service, unique dishes and amazing food. So I'm going to be attempting to replicate those for my 5 friends today. So the table is set, now we just need to wait for my friends to arrive and then we can start the cooking. Hello there. Hello Ben. Good afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon. That's a bit odd. So the first course of our Michelin star menu today is the truffle and an Emmental cheese Croc Monsieur. So we made the first part of this yesterday. That was the cheese, the Emmental cheese part. I'll show you that now. So the recipe I found says that we need to make the cheese / cream that goes on to our Croc Monsieur a day before. So well, it says the night before. It is about, what, 12 o'clock now, so about 24 hours before. I think that's just to add the flavour in. So we need 5 1/4 cups of cheese. That's a lot of cheese. And then we need a cup of cream. I'm not using all of this cream, but some of it's for our dessert I'm making a bit later. So we'll pour that in. We need a little bit of pepper in there. And what makes this a Michelin star recipe is the truffle oil that is going to add a bit of flavour in there. So we're going to put a few drops of that in there. So we're going to grab a spatula and mix that all together. It's going to become sort of paste that we can paste onto our bread for the Croque Monsieur tomorrow. It's now a paste, as you can see. You've got it all mushed together, and then we're going to go back to Ben in the future, who's going to be pasting it onto our Croque Monsieurs after it's been marinating for 24 hours. So I've got that cheese and cream sort of base out the fridge. That's been going for about 24 hours now. I'm going to start off by spreading that onto our bread for our Croque Monsieur. So we're going to grab a little heap of this cheese sauce sort of thing and spread it onto our bread. It's become sort of a paste. You can still see, obviously, the pieces of cheese, but it has become more of a paste. So we're going to grab a slice of ham and put that on there. A few more bits to cover it all up. All bar one of these will have ham on them. One will just have cheese for our resident vegan. So then we spread it on the top side of the bread as well. And I'm going to make 6 of these and I'll get back when I'm finished. So we have our 2 trays of the Croque Monsieur. We have 1 vegetarian one there, and they're going to go into the oven for, I believe, 10 to 12 minutes, but we'll play it by ear. So we've got our nice looking plates here. We're going to put a little bit of basil on them before we put on our Croque Monsieur, which is going to be another 5 or 6 minutes, just to make it look nice. Don't think anyone's going to actually eat the basil, but it just makes it look nice, doesn't it really? So here we have Emmental cheese and truffle Croque Monsieur. So for the main course, we've got a Tagliatelle Carbonara with Pancetta cheese. We're going to start off with our Tagliatelle. We're going to put that to a boil for about 10 minutes. And then in a wok, we're going to get our pancetta. We're going to get that to brown off. So we're going to start off by grating our Parmesan cheese into a bowl. Probably want about half of this maybe. Now we're going to add a few egg yolks and a sprinkling of black pepper. And we'll mix that all together, and that creates the sauce for our carbonara. I think we're going to need a little bit more actually. We'll see. So now that our pasta is done and has been strained, we're going to add that to our carbonara sauce. Oh, just perfect. A bit much in there, but we'll see. Then we just need to mix it round with the sauce. I'll be back once I found a bigger bowl. So here we have our pasta carbonara. It's I'll put it on a large plate, and then people can just pick out how much they want. And then we've got the pancetta on the side because of our resident vegetarian, so people can just have as much as that as they want. Main course is pancetta and tagliatelle carbonara. Thanks. So we're now moving on to our dessert. Now this is pretty difficult. It's called a plum fall with pink peppercorn shortbread. It isn't gonna be easy, so I did start by making the cream and the puree yesterday. So this is how that went. So again, we're a day before and we're gonna make the plum fall. We're not gonna make it all, but we're gonna make 2 of the purees that go with it, and then they all come together about 15 minutes beforehand. So we're gonna need a kilogram of plums. I'm gonna go and cut and wash these now. So we're gonna make the puree first. We're gonna pop 150 grams of butter. $100 grams of caster sugar and 2 sticks of cinnamon. I'm gonna pop that over a low heat until it melts the butter down. So now all the butter is melted and the sugar has dissolved, we're going to add our kilogram of plums just there into the bowl with a few squeezes of a lemon. So we're going to pop this back on to the heat after these plums are in, and then we're going to leave it until all of the plums have pureed. Now for a few squeezes of lemon. Okay, and back onto the heat we go. Right, so our plum puree has completely pureed now. We just need to get our cinnamon sticks out. Oh, we've lost one. Oh no, found it, there he is. Got him. And then we're going to transfer all of this into a blender and make it even smoother. Let's nice and slowly add this into the blender. Oh. There are sort of bits of plum still in there which might be clogging it up. So if we tip it from the funnel itself. Back over there. Back over the... So we can tip it in. Oh, getting a bit messy. Oh, it's still pretty warm. Right, we're going to pop that on the blender. Blender. Whisk. Seems pretty ready to go, I think. So we're going to add the first blended batch for a sieve. Oh, it's still very warm. So it's nice and smooth. There we go. It's almost like a smoothie texture. Let's get the last bits out. Just push it all through. And we're left with just the bits that we don't want in the sieve. Now we'll repeat this process with the rest of the puree and I'll get back to you. So here we have our massive bowl of the plum puree, all lovely and smooth. Now it's all gone through the sieve. We've got out all the nasty pieces from the batch. So now we're going to leave that to cool down completely and then it will go in the fridge ready for tomorrow. So the next part of our recipe is probably the trickiest part. That's the cream that goes on top of the rest of the puree that we've just made, and that is going to require a lot of concentration. First off, we're going to heat 300 milliliters of cream and 300 milliliters of milk in a pan. So we're going to heat these to the boil. While that's heating up, we're going to get our 6 egg yolks and another 50 grams of caster sugar into a bowl, and that's going to be whisked up, ready to be added. So this is our egg yolks and sugar, nice and pale and whisked. We're now going to add in the cream and milk that's come to a boil. But we have to keep whisking the whole time to make sure that it all mixes together. This is the crucial stage, this is. And now we're going to tip it back into the pan. And bring it back over to the heat. Now we wait until this reaches 82 degrees and then it goes back through a sieve onto ice blocks to make sure that the eggs don't scramble. We're going to pour this mixture straight onto a bowl with freezer blocks underneath to stop the eggs from scrambling. So that has all been put through a sieve, and we're going to leave that to cool on the freezer blocks, and it's all going to go into the fridge after it's cooled completely. Here we have our custard slash cream part, and then our plum puree. So the first step is to add 400 grams of this plum puree into this cream and whip it up for the top part. So this is about 400 grams. We're going to pop that in with the cream custard mix, and then we're going to pop that in the whisker upper. So we're going to switch that to whip it up, and it's supposed to come to a more of a whipped cream consistency, and that's going to go on top. And then the remaining of our plum puree goes on the bottom of our glasses. So they're going to go in wine glasses to make it look nice and Michelin star. Okay, so that has whipped up a little bit. It's not quite as thick as I'd want it to be, but that's not too bad. It'll still have a great taste. So we're going to spoon in a bit of our puree. So here are our glasses, filled about halfway with the plum puree. And then we've got our whipped custard cream with a bit of the puree, which is going to go on top. So I made the shortbread yesterday. This is how that went. So I thought, to relieve the stress on tomorrow, I'd make the shortbread today, because that doesn't need to be warm, that doesn't need to be, you know, ready just now, so I can make that all today. But that recipe is also not too easy. So we've got our food processor here, and we're going to pop in 225 grams of plain flour, 85 grams of sugar, and 175 grams of butter. Probably break that down a bit. I'll be back. So I don't know if you can hear me, but that is going to make it into a dough now, and then we were able to add our fancy pink peppercorns. As you can see, it's now coming together to form the dough. Now we've got these pink peppercorns. Now when I saw these on the recipe, so they're in the shortbread and in the fall itself, I thought, why would you put peppercorns in a dessert? But I've tried a few of these, and they're not like the usual black pepper that you'd eat with as a spice. They're actually quite sweet, and they're very interesting flavour. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of those to our dough. I'm going to put the lid back on and blitz it again until the peppercorns are all mixed in. This smells absolutely gorgeous. It sort of smells like berries and a bit of a nutty taste in there. It's really interesting. But that is now finished. We have to then put some cling film over this and leave it in the fridge for an hour, and then we can make it into the shortbread. Okay, so it's been over an hour now, and our dough has finished in the fridge. It smells absolutely amazing. We're now going to make these into our shortbread and pop them in the oven. We'll grab our dough and we're going to roll it out to about 1 centimetre thick. Okay, so that is just about 1 centimetre thick. We're now going to cut them into our shortbread sticks. I'm just going to make it nice and square, nice rectangle shape. Okay, so we're going to start off by cutting it just on here. There we go, that's what our shortbread will sort of look like. And once all these are ready, we're going to pop them on the baking tray. So there's our first baking tray done. So these need to go into the oven on 150 for about 8 to 10 minutes. Some of them will take a little bit longer because they're a bit thicker. And this is like what it looks like coming out of the oven. They've got a little bit bigger, but I think they still look pretty nice. So, like I did with them, we're going to put some peppercorns on top of these fruit falls. Just a few to sprinkle on. Was a few too many, but never mind. There we are, and those are all done. And we can go serve that up with the shortbread. What do you think of the Michelin star menu today?
I think it's quite nice.
Good. What do you think of today's Michelin star menu?
Daddy loved it.